Stevenson makes his return tonight against Artem Hartunian. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV. We've also got Oshaki Foster and Robson Conceição in the co-main event. I think that's actually a really interesting fight. But let's start with the main event. It's Shakur Stevenson. Stevenson has caught a lot of slack lately about not being the most exciting fighter and so on and so forth. But for me personally, here at Paulie TV, I'll tell you, I think Stevenson is the best lightweight in the world. He doesn't have to be your cup of tea as far as being stylistically inclined to the most exciting guy. And I get it. We're in an entertainment sport. I get it. But, I always make this point that other sports also, the winners in other sports also a lot of times don't tend to be the most exciting styles in other sports as well, because defenses win championships. So I do think there has to be a balance. People have to want to watch the sport, but at the same time, there also has to be a formula to know how to win. I think Shakur Stevenson has that. I think it's interesting because he's gotten a lot of criticism, and there's talk about him being a free agent after tonight's fight against Artem Hartunian. Hartunian, by the way, a decent fighter, but not a world beater. He's only lost to Frank Martyn, who we just saw came up very short against Gervonta Davis in essentially what turned out to be a pretty non-competitive fight after a couple of rounds. So Hartunian, you would think, if this is Shakur's last fight on the Showtime, on the Top Rank ESPN contract, it's very interesting because a lot of times the promoter will try to cash you out. Chris Algieri made this point at ProBox TV, where I work at, and he said, typically a promoter will try to cash you out and get the most money. And I thought it was a very good point when they know you're going to leave, and they put you in a very high-risk fight. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But at least they'll cash out on you. And if Shakur was going to leave Top Rank, this isn't really the cash-out fight I would expect, right? So I'm thinking, and this is just hypothesizing, I'm thinking that, maybe a contract has already been re-signed with Top Rank. And again, I'll give credit to Chris Algieri, who's my co-commentator on ProBox TV. He brought this point to me, and I thought it was a brilliant point because, I don't see Shakur really leaving off of a performance over Artem Hartunian. I mean, he's going to... most likely he's going to win the fight. Hartunian is not a huge puncher. He's pretty much a boxer. But Shakur is a master boxer. It's nothing really to threaten. Stylistically, it's nothing really crazy to threaten our Shakur with in terms of Artem Hartunian, who is himself a pretty good fighter. It's just Shakur is just a different level. So I don't see this fight being a fight that's going to be the last fight on Shakur's contract. I'm thinking, and this is just me hypothesizing, I'm thinking he may have already re-signed with Top Rank, and it'll be announced after tonight's win, hinging on the win over Hartunian tonight. The new contract will commence after this win tonight, and that's what my thoughts are. And we'll see. He mentioned Shakur, he mentioned Tank Davis this week. He said that's the goal, that's the end goal. So we'll see if the end goal really will be Tank Davis. I don't think Tank wants to really see him. To tell you the truth, he hasn't really been the most vocal. I think Tank moves business-wise very, very astutely. I'll use the word astutely. He's a very good fighter, but at the same time, he knows who to get and at what times to get. He knows how to maneuver very intelligently. So I don't think he wants Shakur at the moment. The thing is, Shakur is younger, so you're almost in a situation that Canelo was with both Golovkin and then with Benavidez, in that he was willing to let Golovkin age out a little bit and beat him. And then when Benavidez, he won't fight him. I wonder if Tank is using the same model, in that he wouldn't really mention Lomachenko's name until he's sort of aging out now. And then now that he's sort of aged out, Lomachenko still looks good, but he's certainly not in his prime. Tank has mentioned him and he wants to fight him. But now he won't mention Shakur Stevenson's name. And the similarity here with Canelo and Benavidez and Tank and Shakur is, if you wait too long, it's going to only hurt you worse, because Shakur is younger than Tank, just like Benavidez is younger than Canelo. So you're better off fighting these kind of guys in your prime. I would hope that Canelo and Benavidez too, but that's never going to happen. I would hope that Tank and Shakur would end up getting it on while Tank is still in his prime, so that the pressure doesn't build on him where it looks like an outright duck, the way it looks like Canelo and the Canelo and Benavidez part. I'd love to see that fight again. I think that fight will eventually build up to a very big fight, especially if Tank is able to beat Lomachenko. You would think a past his prime Lomachenko, again, still a good win on his record. Probably would still be the best win on Tank's record, because Lomachenko still is pretty dangerous and could probably beat the other guys Tank has beaten thus far. I think it would create a great scenario to really hype up the Tank and Shakur Stevenson fight even more. But Shakur is going to need a little bit more push behind him, either from Top Rank, from ESPN. He's going to need maybe some more exciting style to some of his wins. Again, you don't want to throw away everything you that got you there and risk putting yourself in positions to get L's, or just risk looking susceptible in order to try to be exciting. But at the same time, there is an entertainment factor there. So it's a fine line that Shakur Stevenson has to play. We'll see how it comes out. Shakur Foster, speaking of excitement, is one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. Really, sort of the cardiac kid trying to come from behind, knockout wins, and the like. I'll tell you what, though, I don't know that O'Shaquie has the goods to be a long-term champion. Conceição has been a guy who's made guys look pretty bad. Navarrete he gave a tough time to. Valdez he gave a tough time to. And I'll tell you what, this fight, again, with O'Shaquie, who's got trouble with everybody. O'Shaquie survives by the skin of his teeth every time, and it makes him exciting. But it also makes him very beatable and very susceptible. A guy like Conceição, who's given some of the better fighters in the weight class some tough fights, and even been in controversial decisions, some would say. I think that there's a big chance for Conceição to upset O'Shaquie Foster tonight. I think that's going to be probably the better fight on the card. We're curious about Shakur Stevenson and the way he looks and what happens to him after if he does announce an extension with Top Rank, and of course if that will lead to the Tank Davis fight. Obviously that's the big news, but I do believe that O'Shaquie Foster and Conceição could be a really interesting fight, really exciting fight with the potential of an upset. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV.